everyone. I got Eric's face in the right spot. Slightly too late. Hello, welcome back to Misty Mountain Mondays here on Misty Mountain Streaming. Happy Memorial Day to everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful time with your friends and family, and I hope you are now exhausted and gripping a refreshing beverage and ready just to chill the F out a little bit. We have Erik Braa with us today.
Hey everybody!
Generously agreed to sit and talk with us. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. I mean, it's a pretty chill day. There's not a lot going on, obviously. I mean, unless you're out, celebrating or doing barbecues and stuff. But we had our burgers and then chilled, and it's a day of remembrance for those that gave the ultimate. So
yes, I'm glad at least that our country takes a day and recognizes this, even if it's got nothing to do with barbecue and grilling out and whatnot. But I guess we celebrate it in the best way we know how.
We celebrate it as the kickoff of summer, and the first time that everybody goes, all right, it's time to throw on the shorts and be out there doing the thing with the grill and everything. But yes, it is the excuse we do those things because of this day that we need to remember all those people that gave us this freedom. So,
of course, Misty Mountain Gaming is a veteran-owned and operated company, so this means a lot within the company. I'm not personally a veteran, but I'm descended from several people who have served their countries. Luckily, who all made it home, and our thoughts are with anyone who is out there risking everything for us and for those who have lost people in the line of service.
You're here.
Let's see, who is in the chat tonight? Of course, you and I are in the chat tonight. Eric, the Existential Nerd, has joined us. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Hope your holiday went well. New adventurer to the Misty Mountain Gaming community, Evelyn May Cosplay, is here.
Oh, hey, Evan.
She joined up this week. We met her briefly at MegaCon. I did not personally, sadly. MegaCon. I don't think we have time in this 2-hour stream to talk about what an adventure MegaCon was. But she was there, and she got to meet others of us, and one of them was not me. Dancer Hawk is here. Skipper Bobs is here. Hey, Skipper Bobs, we saw your video. We shared your video for MegaCon in our chat, and we enjoyed it. And we tried to pick ourselves out in various scenes, trying to see who made the cut. One of them wasn't me. That was a wise decision on your part. Yeah, keep the more marketable faces in front of the camera. I think I'm reflecting too much off of these little glasses. I think I'm going to take them off. I don't really need them.
I can't help it. Yeah, they reflect, but.
Yeah. Well, I've got 3 screens and a ring light generally in front of me, and it's too much to reflect. Too much
reflection. Oh my goodness.
What are you drinking tonight, man? You've always got something cool to.
This is like there's a few beers that I'll get, and they just sort of like sit under the island. So it's like when I'm done with the fancy, the ones that I'm all, oh yeah, I gotta get that one special. But then this one's just like, yeah, you get it going. Lagunitas Super Cluster.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
My phone really wants to be heard right now. I'm gonna have to mute that.
It is.
I don't mind
it's
Lagunitas.
It's a Citra hopped mega IPA, so it's almost a double, but it's still a single.
You and your stinking hops, dude.
I am out of control with the hops. I do enjoy some hops. Although I will admit, I'm falling
on my chest for IPAs, and I've got a hairy chest, and I do not have enough hair on my chest to tackle IPAs.
No, it's that most people have had one before, and they go, "Wow, it's really bitter. I'm just really not into it." There's I've fallen in love with the but I mean I've fallen in love with the new stuff. They're like the big double hazies that are like juicy and like they're awesome. They don't have a lot of bitterness at all. They're really pretty damn good. I like them a lot too.
There's
But yeah.
the one IPA I really liked was a Blood Orange IPA. It
Hmm.
was by Monday Night Brewing in Atlanta, and I think the truth is I like the flavor of Blood Orange enough that I will forgive anything that you put it in, even an IPA. Oh, hey, Dabs is here. Dabs, what's going on, my dude? Thank you so much for giving us a share earlier today. I appreciate that. It always means a lot, and you are very good about you and Steadfast Samwise, who I hope joins us later. Always very good about sharing with your friends when we're doing stuff. Is that a new koozie or an old koozie, Eric?
No, it's old. It's old. It's from Griffin Co.
Ah,
They,
nice.
they they printed this one up of my old character. But I had the beard art because I have the shirts. So,
You get
but there's new beard art that has the mustache added, and we're gonna try to put that on a bunch of stuff. So.
You have so much cool stuff from them. Eventually,
Oh, it's
I'll
just
have to see if I get cool stuff from them.
it is just them being the nicest people. They literally, it was like a Christmas or something, and they sent me a box full of things, and they were all like, some of them were custom done, but I also got the coasters and stuff. I love these court coasters; they're actually really good, and they have like D20s, or they have other ones that are pirate themed stuff. But yeah, Griffin Co. I like them. They're good people, and they do lots of little gifty stuff as well as they print miniatures. They're a 3D printer too. So yeah.
Hey, Skipper Bobs, thank you for the subscription, my friend. This was not the stream I thought we'd be getting subscribed to on, but I will take it. Thank you so much for supporting the community, man. This is how we grow. This is what we do, and this is a lot of what I do. And every little bit of encouragement goes a long way for me, not just the channel. So I appreciate it.
What up, nerds?
Oh, Rifle Stud has joined. Everybody go home. Nothing to see here. Stream's over.
There's too many Robs.
Yeah, we've hit the beard limit for this stream. Eric pretty much maxes that one out on his own. I see that. Oh, Robert Top 1992. Hello, how's it going? We will get to that Rollies in just a second. I am not gonna forget that.
Oh
I
my!
have so many things to talk about. You guys are
Evelyn May
adding to it.
cosplay.
Hey, Evelyn, thank you so much. That's huge of you. We're gonna hear that nice little jingle. By the way, let me know if the sound effects are too loud, or if Eric's too loud, or if I'm too loud, or the music's too loud. I can affect all those things.
I'm
Whoa,
always too
though!
loud.
Thank you so much. You're so generous. You're so nice. You got
It's
kids,
so nice.
you got kids to feed. You sure? I will take it though. Thank you. Thank you so much. Evelyn May, by the way, correctly points out that we should try Straub if we're ever in Pennsylvania. She also does not like Hoppy Bear. I think it's supposed to be beer, but I'm imagining like a bear hopping around, and I'm delighted by the imagery.
Oh, I just thought it was an accent.
It certainly was. I'm just being.
I probably don't like me some Happy Bear.
I'm just being mean. Thank you guys. By the way, speaking of thank you guys, I did want to welcome Music Cat, Jerry Guy, Valerio Liriomaggio. I think that's how y'all would say that. Gastaf Tours, Lily in the Shadows. How mysterious. And Captain Death Expert, my new favorite Twitch name, for all following us in the past couple of days. Also, Over4T and John W40. Thank you guys all so much for joining the family. Welcome to the party. If you're new around here, we tell and experience great stories. Our favorite way to do that is with tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. But sometimes it's video games, and sometimes we just sit here and talk about stuff.
Hey, Fatty McFats.
Oh, Fatty McFats, thank you for the follow. And see, when we actually stream, good things happen. When we're not all stuck at a convention in Florida. Man, we're getting real close to 500. Did we pass 550 followers? It's got to be close at this point. Man. Thank you guys all for spending part of a holiday with us. Good gosh. So let's get to that rollies, by the way. Someone did redeem rollies. It was Robert Top. And we knew D20 that. So anybody with a D20 within reaching distance, grab one, roll one, and let's see who wins. I'm going to go, by the way, Totally a sponsor, Misty Mountain Gaming. They got the. Can I line up the symbol with the one on the box? Nope, too hard. My dumb ass. I can't do it.
I
I'm gonna
got you covered.
use the Blade of the Maiden. Gold, purple numbers, real sparkly, glittery. Love these guys. See what we got. Rifle Stud rocking that 7. Dabs hitting a 15.
I got a 17.
I got a 2. It's not me. It's not me who's winning. 12 for Skipper Bobs. I think that means Eric's gonna take it. 17.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. I never. Oh, wait a minute. Evelyn May just. Oh, wait. Hold on. Existential just said meow, 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 meow. Nat 20.
Nah, man. Eric showing us all up. Good roll, though, man. I thought the 19 would have. I thought a 17 would have it.
I thought when Evelyn May cosplay came in with 19, I was like, okay, that's.
Okay,
and then
just show off.
Then Eric just goes meow, meow, meow.
Well done, guys.
That's nice. Well done.
Dancer Hawk, you got the Wolves Den. Which one did you get? Did you get that gunmetal with the white? Did you get that gold with the black? Did you get that gold with the white? Did you get that, like, slate whitey gray with the red? You gotta tell me. You probably already posted in the chat, but...
You gotta tell me.
Okay, so, we kind of set this stream aside. And, by the way, we don't have Eric forever. We got Eric for another 50 minutes or so. Then Eric's going to stream on his own channel a game that we really enjoy around here playing. Rob, Rifle Stud, knows what I'm talking about. He's going to be playing some Golf with Friends. Or Golf with Your Friends, I think is technically the name of the game.
Yeah, the technical name is Golf with Your Friends or something, yeah.
And he's going to be playing that. It is a great thing to watch. I have played with you before, and you've played on our channel. We've played off stream. It's going to be a good time.
My system is probably too ill-equipped to get everybody into the actual stream, but I can probably open the server to people if they want to jump in later. But I mean, obviously, you'll want to stick around with Rob here.
Well, I'm going for a little while longer than Eric's going to be able to stay, most likely. But we're all going to head your way after we finish talking up here, and maybe some people from the chat who have the game will want to go over early and play with you.
Indeed.
Let's see. What do we got? The black with the white and red numbers. Good choice. I actually... Of the Wolves Den dice, those are probably my favorite, and they're the ones I find the easiest to read. So, well chosen, you.
I'm trying to remember the set of dice I got, and I couldn't read them at all. I was like, oh, they're beautiful, but I cannot read them.
Yeah, some of the older sets from us are kind of that way. Like, John, because, the guy that owns the company and designs the dice has never played a game of D&D in his life. So he used to design stuff just he thought was aesthetically awesome. And he was correct. They are aesthetically awesome. But sometimes a little less practical to read. So the company has kind of turned in a direction of legibility of late. As people who actually play have become associated with the brand. Oh, and by the way, I don't want to miss that. Thank you, Dabs, for the cheer. 25 bits, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Everything helps, and that's kind of pushing us a little bit towards a hype train at this point, I think. It's not popped up on my screen yet, but we got to be getting close. So, let me go ahead and say why this is a Memorial Day hangout and D&D 101 is because it occurred to me a little late that, gosh, this is a holiday for people who have real jobs. And, oh, what happened? Thanks, Eric.
No, I just did the same thing, except less,
in.
I think. I didn't actually count. I just started clicking it.
That works. Can I can't cheer myself, or I would. I guess that's fair. Oh, Dancer Hawk using those dice for a druid. Good freaking call, man. Yeah, I kind of forgot that Memorial Day was coming up. I've been blown away since Mega and looking forward to Origin and looking forward to Dallas after that. And there's a family vacation coming up this month, and I just forgot this was a holiday. So what I started off with this stream being is just us talking about D&D and answering questions for people who would be a little less familiar, or just sharing some knowledge or experience with people who are hoping to come into the hobby a little bit. Wow! Rob and more Eric. Gosh, wow, guys, the cheers coming in. I'm not saying anything worth. I'm not saying anything worth cheering. You are insane. Thank you, guys. My job is just as real as the others. Thank you, Evelyn. It is.
I
It
just wanted
resembles a
you.
job. What I do resembles work. It's a little fun to count, I think,
I had
sometimes.
hoped that you'd have insights on your ideas of DMing.
I have those, and they are for sale. $2. $2, and I will tell you most things. No. So if you guys have questions, it can be about D&D. It can be about Erik and how awesome he is. It can be
Wait, what?
about anything you can ask about personal stuff,
Dice?
professional stuff, or preferably Dungeons and Dragons, how to run it, how to play it, what great monsters are, what great monster combos there are, good story hooks, great character options, what's the best class, what's the best subclass for the best class, what races do and don't work, anything like that. We're happy to talk about any of them. And while the chat is formulating, Erik, do you have anything you wanted to touch on tonight?
What do you think as it like if I'm a beginner DM, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the worst thing? What is the one thing that players would be annoyed that I'm either taking too long or not doing right?
All right, so a new DM, what would annoy, what could you do or not do to annoy your players?
Well, I don't know if that's the
Is that
right way to phrase that.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just basically I'm thinking like when you're a player and a DM does something well or not well. Like it could be RP, it could be whatever, but whatever that is, what are the things that you think people don't do well enough as DMs?
So there's a lot of different styles of how you can approach it. There's very few things you can do as a dungeon master that I think are actually, pardon me, are actually a sin in the game. Like are a true transgression against the intent of the game and your players. And technically yourself, because you're hurting your own experience if you do a few certain things.
Sure.
When you step behind the DM screen next, as I'm sure you will at some point in the fairly near future, I hope, I have no doubt that you will miss this pitfall. But one of them is focusing on something that is not the players. If you are trying so hard to tell your story, or trying so hard to impress upon them how cool your NPC is, or how cool your monster is. People didn't come to spend their Saturday night to sit around a table and drink beer and listen to how cool your ideas are.
Right.
They came here to have cool ideas, to try stuff, and to hopefully succeed at that stuff, or possibly fail at that stuff. And that is what an adventure is made of. I've said this time and again, and sometimes I wish it weren't true, but I really do think it is. The best dungeon masters are the ones that you forget are there sometimes.
Right.
Your work as the dungeon master is a lot of the times behind the scenes stuff and allowing your players to shine. When I used to teach swing dancing, I would tell the guys when they were doing certain moves and turns and things that this is all your opportunity to show the girl off, to show your partner off, to make them seem impressive and cool and powerful and sexy, or whatever it may be. And that's kind of what you want to do as Dungeon Master, too. You want to design opportunities for your players and the characters they created to seem awesome. And every second that something that is not one of them is awesome is a second they're enjoying less.
All right.
That is partially my opinion. I mean,
No, that's sort of what I was going for was the idea that, like, you know, if the back end, you know, the management of the enemies and things like that during a battle or something like that, do you think it's important to be really super fast, or just you can pace it and it'll be okay, not a big deal? And by the way, Irish Mac, I'm so glad the shirt made it to you. That's awesome.
Oh, hey Irish, how's it going, pal? Let's see, I think I did. I got a question from Evelyn, and I will be going to answer that. Although it looks like Nerd is taking a stab at it in the chat there. Um, but no, if you're like managing the monsters and whatnot, 3 weeks from now, none of your players are gonna think he skipped that goblin's turn. And 3 weeks from now, they're not gonna think, man, that necromancer's turn took like 15 minutes. What the crap?
Right.
You know?
As long as you do it right, yeah.
Yeah, what they're gonna remember is when they killed that necromancer who was doing such great stuff, or how they killed the goblin, or how that goblin crit them and it nearly brought them low. The little things that you get worried about as a dungeon master of, oh my god, they hate me, or I'm taking forever, you know.
Right.
Those little things are so quickly lost to time.
Right. As long as people enjoy themselves playing, they're gonna miss or not remember those things.
Yeah, and I mean, you probably had this experience acting. I did it in the theater. I was in a scene in high school where I was trying to woo the woman in the damsel in a play, and I had a moment where I was supposed to implore her on my knees and say the words, I implore you, on my knees, yada yada yada. And I forgot that I was supposed to kneel in that moment. So when I got to that line and I realized, oh crap, I'm standing, I almost like did the splits. I let my feet drop from under me, and my knee went down onto that stage with an enormous, like, it made a big sound. I could hear the from the audience.
Right, everybody realized you hurt yourself.
I said, on my knees, because I was actually trying to hold in a yell. But I thought, God, I just ruined this scene, and nobody but me remembers it after that. Like, everyone just remembered, oh, the play was nice, and they had swords at the beginning, and it was the girl who did it, or, you know, and he was sleepwalking. You know, he wasn't conscious for that, and nobody remembers the moment where I forgot I was supposed to be kneeling and nearly killed myself.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, and I think DMing is the same way. You forget the small in favor of the large. And so the things that you worry about seem silly in retrospect, even though they seem large and important in the moment. Alright, we got a question from Evelyn May Cosplay. Tell me what happens when you split the party. Eric, you a party splitter?
I try to keep us together as much as possible, but yes, we have on occasion split the party for various reasons, whether it was like, well, we need this and we need this, and we need them to happen kind of the same time, so we have to send half and half.
Yeah.
Or a couple, you know, of the party members. But I try to keep them together as much as possible, and I try to stay together with people as much as possible because, yeah, I will. Well, half the time I end up doing tanky kind of stuff, so I'll end up dying if I just tank in there and then everybody splits. I'll be like,
Steve and I, Steve, my brother, by the way, co-host of the podcast, Bardic Twinspiration.
Meow.
We talk about this a lot because we have very different opinions. I am very pro splitting the party. I think it's a great idea. And it goes against the trope. There's a whole stinking meme. They have written songs. You can search them on YouTube about never split the party. And yet I say it's a good idea.
Okay, then what's your reasoning here? Because normally it's that you only get a couple of players and they face too much stuff and then they die.
So my reasoning is, it's a great idea until you roll initiative. So if you have, so think of shows like Leverage, the A-Team. Think of movies like Ocean's 11 and The Expendables, or anything like that. Any movie that involves a team working together. Usually they're separately somewhere in the same general area, playing to their strengths and making sure that everything goes off without a hitch. There are scenarios where only sending in a person that is likely to succeed, and with no one else to potentially drag them down, or to give away the ruse, or to make sound in the stealth mission, is just that's the way to do it, is to avoid those circumstances.
Sure, yeah.
When initiative is rolled and the weapons come out, you're going to be outnumbered, you're going to be outgunned. The party, the entire game is designed assuming that you have access to ranged attacks and melee attacks and healing magic and crowd control. So when initiative is rolled, it's a terrible idea to be split. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't expect to fail, and your characters shouldn't always expect to fail. Bliss is here. Hello, Bliss.
I got an 8. Existential's already got a 17. So.
17, but 17 didn't save you last time. I got a strong 11, which will beat all weak 11s in the future. The Noble Nerd has given us a follow. The Noble Nerd, famous creator of the exploding topless Erik gif.
Yes.
Over in the broadcast Discord.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Night. 19 for dabs. Way to go.
Noble's the best, because that thing, I swear to God, every time I look at it, I start laughing my ass off.
That was some quality work, man.
Oh, it makes me laugh.
Erik was playing some golf with friends with us the other night, and you were a few deep when we were playing together.
Oh, indeed. I was screaming.
You were mentioning it to us, and then we would go 30 minutes, and then you would click over to your Discord and see it and mention it to us again, like we hadn't heard of it before.
Oh,
It's because you were that excited about it. You were tickled, man.
It made me laugh a lot, and yes, I was really annoying about it because I was drunk too. But yeah, good times.
All right, so Dabs with a 19 has won the rollies. Well done, sir. At some point I'm going to bring back there being stakes for the rollies and changing somebody's name in the Discord or something such as that.
Irish, I'm going to tell you right now that it's fun, the idea of the hidden secret mission or whatever like that. And I've had games where a friend, like certain people got certain messages that other people didn't, and you were like, what's going on? And it made you look at your fellow character, like your fellow adventurers, a little differently, because you'd be like, I don't know at any moment like this dude could turn on me or something because he's got a secret mission I don't know about, but I know for a fact that there was definitely something sent around. So that's why I'm like...
Thank you, Dabs, for the gifted sub. Bliss, Death by Snoop Snoop. You are now the fond recipient of a subscription courtesy of the Dabs, aka D-Rob. How's it
nice going? That is so nice.
Let's see. The question that Erik was asking, by the way, asked by Irish Mac in the chat, which scrolled by over here somewhere a second ago. What are your thoughts on a player character having a secret goal that's hidden from the rest of the party? I kind of defy people to think that it's a bad idea. Like, just cut and dry, entirely bad, because that makes for some very interesting drama. But it is something I think well reserved for a game of good friends who already know each other, or a group that has played together before, at least, and looking for a little extra rush. You know what I mean? Like, regular D&D just doesn't do it for me anymore. Now I gotta get some of that good shit.
Gotta have that espionage.
It is, I've done it. My brother's done it. It's happened in a lot of our games, and I like there being hidden aspects of a backstory that come out through play or that are revealed, because that's realistic. Nobody knows everything about me, and finding out bits about me I think is fun, and it's the same is true for your player characters. Having a secret goal that directly pits them against the party or against the party's interests is a tougher thing. And it has worked very well, famously, some particular times. Matt Colville on his channel, which, if you haven't seen Matt Colville's channel and you like D&D, you should check out Matt Colville's YouTube channel, talks about a great example of something similar to this. But, yeah, I recommend it with the asterisk of do it in a group that you're familiar with, because you
Yeah.
could very easily be spoiling a stranger's fun who did not
Yeah,
sign up for
because
this sort of thing.
right, and if they realize that there's something going on, they're like they feel left out.
They feel left out, or they could feel, especially if they're a newer player to the game and they don't understand what you're doing or the nuances of it, they could feel strictly like they've been lied to or betrayed.
Yeah.
Which is not a fun feeling when you're coming to play games. But that said, I think it's worth it. But, you know, whip that out on the equivalent of the third date in D&D. You know, that's not how you meet people. Oh, I missed Erik, Existential Nerd, a subscription to the Noble Nerd. Noble Nerd, you've been here 4 minutes and you have a gifted sub. Welcome to our amazing and generous community, my friend. Thank you, Erik. What a pal. What a good old guy. I don't know, Erik, are you gonna be over playing with Erik? Golf with friends? You played with him before. He's gonna be doing it
I'll
here in
have
about
to.
half an hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump over to my channel, and then I don't think I'll have everybody in chat, but I'll definitely have everybody in the server if they want to get in and play. I think it's just gonna be me and Bliss talking on the stream, but
Still fun to play though.
yeah, it is super fun.
All right, let's see. What have I missed? Dabs is a legend. Irish, you are correct for noting that. Let's see. People thanking people because they're lovely people. I had a friend who was secretly Batmaning every night after the rest of us were down for a long rest. His alter ego was called the Nachtdrakon.
I kind of like that.
I basically played the opposite character. I had a gentleman criminal, who was like traveling along with the party and on the sly, like running a small thieves guild, and that he interacted with the party as himself, and then he would leave, and then he would interact with the party as his masked alter ego, and that's one of the reasons I cautioned. While that was one of the most fun games that I played, and one of the most fun characters that I played, and actually all the other players enjoyed it, all the other characters in the fiction of that world are now hunting my character down to take his life. So it didn't exactly end great.
Nice.
Oh, what else do we have? Noble Nerd feels so loved, as you should. I hope you feel loved. I hope everyone here feels loved. And Erik would indeed enjoy golfing with you, Erik. Erik and Erik. This is the Rob and Rob thing all over again.
I know.
With still being fairly new to 5th edition, I know from playing 3.5, or at least with our group, if you rolled all 6s on the 4d6 for ability score, you got to keep all 4. Is that the same for 5e? With regard to that answer, however your dungeon master says you are doing ability scores for your game is the way that you are doing them. That particular method is not specifically stated in the rule books or on like D&D Beyond or in any of their literature.
It can be homebrew.
Yeah, that would be a homebrew thing.
Here's the one thing that I think gets lost on DMing and players looking at how DMs talk about things. Like, it is the DM really is calling the shots though. So like arguing with or trying to rules lawyer stuff doesn't necessarily help all that many people. I mean, sure, maybe there's times the DM will go, okay, sure, all right, I'll change that ruling or whatever. But I still think like if you want to keep the game going and stuff like that, sometimes you just have to allow the DM to, you know what I mean? And hopefully they get it right and that like there's no issue there. I mean, sure, you can argue it.
One of the things I love about D&D 5th edition, and I'm sure it's true in the previous editions of the game too. If someone wants to cite a rule to you and say, but the books say this, and they point their finger at something, you can always go to, I think it's page 4 of the Dungeon Master's Guide, in the 4th paragraph in the bottom right corner of the page, where it says, the DM is always right.
Exactly.
So my rule beats your rule, and the same book that you are referencing it in says I'm right.
Right, exactly.
And it's fucking great. And if you don't like it, hey, find another table. You know,
Yeah, no, that's true.
there's another one out there for you. And
Yep.
Steve and I argue back and forth now and again. Steve again being my brother and co-host of the Bardic Twinspiration podcast. If you're new
A lot
to
of it
this,
has to do with brother.
yeah, if you're new to this channel, you don't know who he is, and so I explain. And there's some people who are here tonight new to this channel. But if you've watched the channel for a minute, you know absolutely who Steve is, because he's been on and he plays D&D with me. And he's played D&D with us, as a matter of fact. But we argue back and forth now and again about how he says that, not everybody can be picky with who they play D&D with, or how often they get to play D&D, or, sometimes you just need to put up with certain things, or else you don't get to play. And my argument is typically that there's always players out there. If you don't have a game that you can play in, you can run one, and you still get to play D&D. And I would not play D&D, I would not be as passionate about this hobby as I am if I had to put up with certain things. And I would rather not play D&D than play it in poor company, or play it in an environment that stressed me out, or that gave me a bad evening.
Yeah, and you have to remember that you're spending 3 to 4 hours playing this,
Yeah.
and most likely, and do you really want to invest that much of your time into a game you love, but with somebody that you just don't really think they're making the calls? And it's fine. You play a one game with them, and you go, all right, I'm good. I'll sorry, I'm going to step out of this party and move on.
Sure. I mean, and that's that sort of thing. There's other things you could be doing with that 3 to 4 hours that you would enjoy just as much, and that would relax you and soothe you and make you enjoy yourself. Granted, this is a great stinking hobby. If you're not trying it already, you absolutely should, and stick around this Twitch channel to see how it can be done, and come over and visit our YouTube channel if you want to learn how to do it better. We're working on 3 scripts for the YouTube channel right now, but yeah, I mean, it's.
I think Eric has a really good point there. That sometimes, as the DM, you have to alter a rule, because what if you followed it formally and it meant certain doom or a TPK for, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you might have to adjust it for the situation.
Oh, they're caught up in the Robs in the chat here. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I've missed some stuff. I got on a tangent there.
There's additional. They want to add an additional Eric.
To wrap up the thought. I have people that I love very dearly, who are very close to me, who I just won't play D&D with, and I have people that I play D&D with that I don't love very dearly and who aren't very close to me. It kind of goes both sides of the coin. Not every hobby is meant to be shared with every person, and you can have a happy and healthy relationship without doing every little thing together. So It should not be an offense that you don't want to play D&D with everybody. I mean, my boss is a great example. I said earlier in the stream, never played a game of D&D in his life. Still love that dude, and would have any amount of beers with him, and will give my heart and soul to help build the Dungeons and Dragons empire that he has worked so hard to build for so long. But wouldn't play D&D with him. Unless he begged. That would be fun. Okay. So we answered Dancer Hawk's question. Another question from Irish Mac. Evelyn May says she hasn't played for about 10 years, way behind the times. Girl, stick around. We're gonna do some stuff. Would a pixie-sized health potion be just as effective for a giant? And if yes, would a giant's potion be as effective for a pixie by volume? And what could stop a pixie from buying one giant-sized health potion and portioning it to be a bunch of pixie-sized potions? So, I believe... Well, Eric, do you want to take a crack at it first before I give my opinion on the matter? Because this is again,
I would
Dungeon
treat this
Master's
as magical.
call.
I treat it as like a magical item, the same way that if a crossbow can be used by a gnome and then handed to me and suddenly it sort of fits my size, then you know what I mean. I would assume the potions are going to be something that is already said. This is one potion no matter what size you are. But yeah, it is funny to talk about like, oh, you could only use a thimbleful of a potion and still save the rest for later if you were a small character.
So I actually quite agree with that, because yeah, we're already talking about how dungeon masters are always right and screw the rules, but I play pretty close to the rules when I run, and one of the things is the magic item is either a potion of minor healing, a potion of healing, a potion of superior healing, a potion of supreme healing, a potion of whatever you want to call it, and they heal blank D4 plus blank, and it never specifies if it's a tall boy or if it's a thimble or if it's a cauldron. And I say, maybe you brew a cauldron of one minor healing potion. You got to drink the whole cauldron to get that 2d4 plus 2.
Right. You drowned before you got the benefit.
That was actually something I was going to point out. Is that I think a pixie is just going to straight up drown in a giant-sized healing potion. And I think that would be funny. It's like, I needed just 2d4 plus 2 health, and instead I drowned and died, and I lost my pixie character. Fuck! Issy is here and demands rollies. Everybody grab them. Everybody grab them and do 20s.
Well, you're wasting your time. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, what did you do? Yeah, I'm not winning any of these. I got a 5.
Got the crit.
Oh, hey, Grimforge is here. Hello. How's it going?
Hello, Grimforge.
Oh, yeah. If anyone
good night,
loses
Evelyn.
to me, no one is losing to me. Boom, goblins. All right, let's take a quick note. 5e custom monster. Womb goblins. It sounds like a disease. That sounds... that sounds like an STD. Like a fantasy S. I don't have crabs, I have womb goblins.
Yikes.
Nobody lost to me. I got 5. Everyone's a winner except Rob. You all beat someone, and it was me. Let's see. By the way, Dabs...
Yes, we did answer the potion question.
Robin Taylor is also a Rob. That's how he goes. So we've technically got 3 Robs and an honorary Rob. I don't know what y'all are doing with the Erics and honorary Erics.
There was a discussion of how to spell the name and then how to pronounce it. I thought it was E-R-I-Q was Erik.
It's like Enrique, just...
No, but Erik is from, what was his... He was in, Coming to America. He was the Soul Glow kid.
Yeah,
and he was played by the IRL name for the guy was actually Erik.
I think Daps won rollies again, though. 19. What did you get, Eric?
I got a 20.
Oh, you got a 20. Okay, I knew you
That's
said
why
you were
I was like, you're all wasting your time.
Let me... I know it's not rollies, but hang on. Let me see if I can... 4. Nope. Defective. Where's the dice, jail? We're not rolling the Blade of the Maiden anymore tonight. Ah, gosh.
No more for you.
All right, let's... So, Eric, you have played D&D and D&D adjacent things for a while now. Famously, I think your most beloved or well-known character, perhaps just your longest-running character, was Torque, who was a barbarian. Is there a class that you have not played, or a class that you would never play?
Never is too strong a term. Okay. I often shy away from magic users because
I would play.
I mean, I honestly, I would try anything. I will say that maybe it's just that I'm not smart enough, but I definitely know that I can tank easy. Like that's something I love doing. I just run in and attack stuff. But magic using is something that I've always been a little scared of, but I've started to try things here and there. And I did do a short little series that we did on Fabled 42, which was wizards, and it was almost like Harry Potter. Like we were all at whatever that castle is. I already forgot it now. Hogwarts. So we had our own castle, and we all had like team houses or whatever. and it was fun. And so I started learning to use the magic stuff. But of course, my character was known for always pushing it too far, going into the library, finding a spell that he thought he could do, and it was too far above him, and he would blow up the library or something bizarre. But yeah, it was really fun. It was a really, yeah, a chorus. Exactly. Thank you, Death by Snoo Snoo. I appreciate that. It was Chorus. That was his name. Chorus, the young wizard who didn't even know he had magic until he woke up being dragged out of a burning barn, not realizing I had caused the fire.
Oh God. That's a backstory there.
Oh, yeah. I pretty much lifted it from a comic that I loved, and it was merely the sense that he didn't even know he could have or had magic or could do anything magical, and his abusive uncle or whatever like kept him, in line, and then finally he blew up, and that's when he caused this to happen, but he didn't know how he did it, and so he got shipped away secretly by some people that just came in the night, just like the classic Harry Potter thing where they went, "We know where you belong," and they took me to the school.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, too bad I burnt down my uncle's barn, but
Well, barns can be rebuilt.
he's kind of a
Magic is
jerk, to be honest.
forever.
The guy was a real jerk, very abusive.
Let's see. We had some more questions in the chat. Irish, to reiterate our answer to your question, mine and Eric's at least consensus was there is a certain amount of magic in a potion, regardless of the size, and you get a certain amount of healing, regardless of the size of the potion. Now, if you manage to distill an entire potion of healing down into the thimble that a pixie could drink, there is a career in that, my friend. Go into business, and you will sell so much stuff. You will make so much gold off of adventurers. Also, if you are serving a giant-sized potion, which is made up of multiple servings of a regular potion of healing, you will also get so much of my adventurer's gold, because that is also great. But if you call it a potion of healing, it does the same amount of healing regardless of the size of the vessel or the amount of liquid in it.
Yeah, and I said the same thing with if there's a magical crossbow, and I hand it to the gnome, but yet he can hold it, and I'm a Goliath. You know what I mean? It's like that's the whole point of magical items, is that you go, it's a +1, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. You know what I mean? Whoever's holding it. Now you could argue that yeah,
good comparison.
Or the gnome tried to pick up my crossbow, you know what I mean? And you could play that, but at the same time, if it's magical, that's the whole concept. And a potion is definitely a magical item that you've already set out it as a unit rate.
Yes. Thank you for reiterating that, because I think that was an apt comparison. There have been... Guys, good old Coors Light is getting to me a little bit. I'm sorry for the belching. It's not affecting up here, but it sure is affecting right here. So, a couple of quick questions. First of all, Grimforge, very, very jealous of the life you are living right now. Good on you. Let's trade. B, Existential Nerd asked, what RPGs have you played outside of D&D? Then he mentions a few that he has played. Any particular favorites, Eric? Let's narrow it down to, what is your favorite RPG besides Dungeons and Dragons that you've played?
Oh, that's a good question. I played like tabletop stuff. I've played one called the Sixth World.
Okay.
That was super fun, and my friend Rob was the DM, and he was another Rob. Rob Strotter did it, and I'm telling you, it was cool because you were involved in the process of naming the environment and creating this world that your character is now a part of. So for some reason, he said something about going to this area where these gangs were or whatever, and there was a lot of steam and all this. And for some reason, he said, "What's it called?" And I go, "It's called the Fluff and Go or Fold and Go." And he goes, "That's hilarious because it's right next to the engines, which fold space to go. So it's called the Fold and Go section of the ship, and that's where you go to talk to." Anyway, so it was just really fun because it was like you were creating it while you were playing it. You know what I mean? Like it was really fun. Yeah, that I had a really good time with that one. And there's another one I played not too long ago that had the cards where it's just you get like two people, and then you have a mission to try to get out of there. But the setup time of building all the walls and all that takes a little while.
Outside of, I like the sound of that, by the way. There are a lot of RPGs out there that involve the players in the creative process more so than as much as, or more so even than the game master, and I admire those. I don't know if I would enjoy running them as much, but I would probably enjoy playing them a lot more because it gives me the feeling of having a foot in both worlds, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you could be GM and, you know what I mean, and not really player, but you're definitely involved in it, and you're getting all these other people to name the sections and come up with, so, you know, like, oh, we're going to the space station. What do we call it, Rob? And then you just come up with a name, and that's it. Now everybody goes, all right, that's like right now, go for it. Give me a space station name.
Thanks to the anime Space Dandy, I'm gonna go with Boobies.
Boobies. Okay, so that would be it.
Space station little hooters out there across the galaxy. It's their chain. I was talking about that with Sophie. If anybody knows Space Dandy, I'm trying to convince Oh My Sophie to do a Boobies waitress cosplay. I think she would have a lot of fun with it, and I doubt any red-blooded American man would not support.
Have an issue with that.
Personally, I would have to go with Call of Cthulhu for ones that I've actually played and run as my favorite non-D&D RPG. However, Fate, the Fate core rules, and Blades in the Dark really interest me. And I have all the stuff. I'm ready to go with those one day when I find players for them. I've tried Vampire the Masquerade. That is a very poorly written rulebook, but a very cool world. Another question. We have...
Always comes down to titties.
Where was it? Dabs asks, what are the best beginner-friendly races and classes for someone who's never played but would love to create and try? So I'm gonna narrow that question down. There is hardly a bad race for people to play, because they all have kind of about the same number of options, they about have the same number of powers, and they're all pretty easy to understand. There's a few, like the Eladrin, who have like, oh, I can be a Summer Fae, or I could be a Winter Eladrin, and I can change that on a day-to-day basis, and that may be a little complex, but it's not that bad, and most other races are just hard and fast. This is what I am, this is what I can do, this is what it means to be me. So I don't think there's really a bad race. So let's talk classes. What are some great classes for beginning 5e players, Eric?
Fighter, Barbarian. I mean, those to me, Fighter is it's a nice universal. Barbarian's great if you just want to tank, if you just want to run at stuff and beat on it. And honestly, well, Bard for the win. Yes, Bards are fun. But yeah, you could stay back out of the fray and cast buffing spells on your other party members, which is a really good thing. And you do it by being entertaining and singing songs, so that's always fun. But Fighter for me is like the easiest. Like, you run at thing and punch it or stab it or whatever your, you know what I mean, your weapon is or your thing, your style is. That's it. As soon as you get into wizards and spellcaster stuff, then it starts getting a little more difficult, because while there's the cantrips that are easy, they're almost like shooting a crossbow bolt or something. There's all kinds of other things that you have to remember, if it's an AoE or if it's this or that, and what the effects are, and whether or not those effects apply to the. I mean, obviously the DM will give you a ruling on it, but yeah, I think spellcasters are a little harder.
Yeah, KJ is a little newer to D&D when we were playing. If anyone hasn't watched the Rhymehold Ritual that I ran and Eric got to play in, you should definitely go to our YouTube channel. Let me link that, by the way, where you can find the entire campaign. I think it was 11 sessions that we played, maybe 12. I think I annoyed her now and again by having her spells work the way they were written. And she just hadn't read them all the way through. She read what the name of the spell was and made some educated guesses as to what they would do, and
right.
So yeah, there was a little bit of a struggle there, because she had basically 5 times the homework of anybody else in the campaign, because she was a spellcaster, and so did Tyler. and so did James.
and anticipating what you might need for a spell when you want to rotate spells out, because you can know a lot of spells, but you can only have so many prepared.
Right.
So, like, you have to know, like, oh, we're going
Yeah.
into this area. I'm probably going to need stuff for this kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that to me is
You're basically signing up for a middle management job every time you take a
exactly
long rest.
you have a project manager to become a spellcaster. Yes.
So yeah, I agree. Fighter and Barbarian for beginners are some of the best classes. I should say, the easiest to understand classes. Do I think they are the best classes in the game? Not to my taste. Do I think that they are some of the least complex? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you feel like you are ready for a little more and don't mind putting in a little extra effort, when we're playing a class, I would recommend going for maybe a rogue, who is still pretty much a martial class, just they get a few more options, and they're a little less predictable than, I'm going to run at something and hit it with a weapon this turn. And I think a Warlock, if you want like the entry-level spellcaster, they get a lot of powers that are just always on, and they have less than half as many, like, they have maybe 3 spells they can cast a day, and a very short list of ones they can select from. It's like baby's first spellcaster. And they are powerful. They're just less complicated than the full class casters. Let's see. People are surprised I made a Space Dandy reference. You're welcome. Iski's first was a Spore Druid. Man, Spore Druid's the only druid I've ever played, and I love them. Who needs Wild Shape when you have a cloud of spores to defend you and hurt your enemies? Love it. Irish Mac correctly points out that this has nothing to do with you, Eric, or D&D. I apologize, but this needs to be said. The entire Bioshock collection is free on Epic Games right now. That is one of my favorite games of all time. It left such an impression on me back in college, and I am going to be playing it Friday on this channel until I drop. We're going to start at the beginning of the game, and we're going to go until I just can't play anymore. We're going to see how far we get in the story, and I am so looking forward to it. I haven't played that remaster in a while. If you haven't played Bioshock, it is not a game to miss.
Oh, it is a really good game, and it was one of those games that, like, the fact that the voice acting was really good. It's a very immersive experience.
Yes.
It's really good. It's a really fantastic game. I absolutely, yeah. I would highly recommend for sure.
I've only got you for a couple more minutes, and I'm going to waste it geeking out on Bioshock, but I have to tell somebody, and you're the one who can give me physical reactions to what I say, so...
Okay.
Bioshock, to me, was interesting because it was one of the first games that I played that put a lot into its world building. Like, I felt that Rapture, the city that this takes place in, felt like
Indeed.
a real place, that it made sense. I couldn't poke a lot of holes into its existence, and I was just completely immersed by it. It was like more complicated worlds could be built, but more consistent ones I had not experienced up to that point.
It was also a step forward in, like, immersion of, at that time, like when you step onto the elevator and it's like you're still there, but you're listening to all this stuff, and you know it's basically loading something, you know what I mean, in the background.
Yeah.
And so it made it really nice because it felt a little more seamless, and so therefore it kind of like pulled you in, I think, a lot more.
There's very few, I mean, they exist in the game just like a loading screen, but there's few.
Irish Mac,
and they're far between.
Irish Mac, before I go, I have to do this.
Oh, yes.
Welcome to the League of Draven. Yeah.
Still gets me, dude. I remember when Draven dropped in League. We used to play League. Oh, like me and my buddies during and after college would log in every day, and that's how many of them have stayed in touch. I kind of fell out of it because I began to
Jax
get annoyed
was my
at other
first
people.
character.
Yeah, Jax.
Who wants a piece of the champ?
Jax
I always
rolls
liked
up.
him.
It's like you make all these other impressive characters who have these impressive backstories and these impressive talents. It's like, don't forget, Jax is holding his own with these people with a lamp.
I know,
post.
right?
So
Exactly.
we're not gonna talk about that.
All right. Well, I have to hop. I'm gonna go over and fire up the old broadcast happy hour when we're gonna play some golf, and I will figure out how to set that server, and people can get in and chat, and I'll let you know what the password is and all that. All right.
I'm sure. Hey, thank you for sparing
Thank
us
you
what
for
time you
having me
could,
on,
man.
man.
Always a pleasure. And
Always a pleasure.
I'll send these people your way at the end of the stream if any of them, if they all don't leave to watch you right now.
No. You guys hang out, Dr. Rob. I love it.
All right, man.
All right.
I'll catch you later.
Bye.
Alrighty, let's hide that, and it's just you and me now, gang. Hello. I saw a question back in the chat from Skipper Bob. Question: do races have a set physical frame? Like, are all dwarves stocky? You have accidentally stumbled upon a hot button issue for me, and if no one else asks another question, I might just go off on this tangent. Generally speaking, the answer is yes. There is a kind of a set height parameters and general weight for a particular race that kind of gives them a recognizable shape. If you are looking at a dwarf, you know you're looking at a dwarf because they're not shaped like other races. And if you, as opposed to a halfling who is slightly shorter or slender, or a gnome who is significantly shorter with wild hair, and sometimes in bright and crazy colors. Halflings have big feet and typically are barefoot. Elves are tall, ethereal, graceful, slender. Humans come in all the different shapes and sizes that humans do, but you're never going to confuse one with a dwarf or an elf or a tiefling or a dragonborn. That said, Wizards of the Coast has been coming along very recently, like within the past couple of months, and has been removing certain elements that in favor of making the races unique to you. So that they're removing some of the things that make the individual Dungeons and Dragons races identifiable and standard, so that your player character, who is a member of that race, can be as specifically detailed as you want. They don't want to tell you that a dwarf has more constitution than your average human, which used to be true. Your standard run-of-the-mill dwarf got a bonus to their constitution that a human did not get. Could a human have a higher constitution than a dwarf? Yes, but most would not. And they have removed that so that no one can tell you how to play your character or what your dwarf is like. I think it takes away something. I think you lose something about the world and about the races that make it a diverse and incredible place when you do that. But you sure do get player characters more tailor-made to what you want to play. And there's a little bit of a trade-off there in terms of game mechanics versus world building. Okay, let's see. Oh, Irish, you need to go and ask him that in golf, because that is a great line from Jax. We will be raiding good old Erik here in a little bit. He will be playing golf over there, and I highly encourage any of you who are interested in watching a cool, sweet fella get drunk and yelling at a golf game to go over there and enjoy that, because that's what we were doing the other night, and he was so upset. The game is basically a rage game. It's not meant to be incredibly fair or forgiving. So, the physics break in that game all the time. And he gets upset by it, understandably. And, it's fun to watch and listen to. You absolutely should. Erik, am I joining in on the game? I am not. When this stream is over, I'm going to record an episode of the podcast with my brother. And by the time we are done recording, Erik will no longer be streaming. So, yeah, I won't be participating tonight. I'm afraid not. But don't let that stop you if you wish to go. Let's see. Who have I got still hanging out with me tonight? Dab's here, Hawk's here, Bliss is here. Bliss, you gotta go, girl. You got golf to play. Erik is lost without you. Fatty McFats, Grimforge, Rifle Stud, Skipper Bobs. Hello, all of you. Thank you guys for continuing to spend some of your Memorial Day with me. I'm happy to continue to answer questions, talk about D&D, do whatever we want. It's our stream now, lads. We can, no one can tell us what to do and not do. If you guys run out of questions and run out of things to talk about, we'll call it an early night. Entirely up to y'all. Yeah, poor Erik. Erik is not, the most technological of people. We were talking about, even just how I got these things on the screen with me before the stream tonight, and had him here in a little frame, trying to make sure that he knew how to do that if he wanted to do it on his channel. Erik, you've mentioned several times, Existential Nerd, about wanting to help me with the stream and the stream setup and running some stuff. I genuinely appreciate that offer and still intend to take you up on it, but man, if you want to extend that offer Erik's way, not only would it mean a lot to him, but it would help him a lot. This is not his area of expertise. So I'll turn this little format around real quick. I will ask the chat a question. Anybody who is still hanging out here, taking a little bit of a survey. What was your first D&D character class? What was the first thing that you played personally? Because it was true. Me and my brothers played the same thing. I know Iski played a Spore Druid. What about everybody else? Grimforge, you don't have to buy a question, my friend. I won't make you buy a vowel. Just type it in and we'll talk. You still have the sheets from 25 plus years ago. Good on you. I still have it hasn't been that long. I haven't been playing Dungeons and Dragons for that long. I wish I had. If I could go back and start playing this hobby earlier in my life, boy howdy would I. But I still have the notes from the first campaign I ran. Grimforge played a Paladin in 2nd edition. Irish, you go play some golf with Erik, my friend. Thank you for coming and joining us. Genuinely, always love to have you here, especially when there's not rats on stream. I know you love the rats. We'll be back playing D&D as soon as possible. Cheesecake Panda has been running around being a cosplay celebrity for a minute, and we will get back to all of our stuff, including some new programming, when she is done. Paladin's a solid choice. There's a lot of good roleplay hooks into Paladin. They're not incredibly complicated. I don't think they were in 2nd edition either. I mean, everything was a little more complicated in 2nd edition, but not Paladins in particular. Just very good roleplay hooks. I like that choice. Skipper Bob saying I built a monk for an upcoming game, and monk in 5e, and they're good. If there's 2 classes that you could make an entire party out of and just have no holes in the party, like everyone is pretty self-sufficient and gets stuff done, I think monks is one, and I think maybe either clerics or druids is the other. Just so much power in those classes. So many immunities when you get into high levels too. Stunning Strike? Don't get me started. Stunning Strike. I asked because a Dwarven Paladin. Paladins for Grim and Erik. Me and my brother both played as rogues the first times we played. Just not knowing anything about the fiction of the game, you told me that we could be a sneaky little Altair, Ezio Auditore, swashbuckling criminal, the panther, the jackal. We went for that. We went hard. I was just wondering if anyone else thought like me and my brother, but I guess we're a little different there. Gladiator dwarf monk. That sounds good. You sold me on Gladiator. What is your favorite character race and their adult beverage? And they've come out with some cool character races lately. I love my satyrs, but my favorite character race is a half. I love those bastards. I love that they have an appreciation for life, a zeal for life that most races don't, an appreciation of comfort and the finer things, and yet they still have a desire somewhere deep within them, this itch to go and be fucking heroes and do incredible things. They were inspired by the Tooks out of Lord of the Rings, and off of Bilbo to a certain extent. Just, they're incredible. I love halflings, and I love their reputation for just being lucky sons of bitches. It's like you almost can't take credit for anything as a halfling. It's just, I don't know what to tell you. Things just worked out. Plus, it's part of the joy of the fiction for me in role playing to play something unlike what I am in real life, and being over 6 foot tall and playing something 3 foot tall and imagining the world from that perspective is part of the fun. So I like playing dwarves and halflings and gnomes. I think my next player character is probably going to be a goblin. We'll see when I get to play again. But even playing in What Lurks in the Dark, Tyler's Eldritch Horror long shot that we've been playing through, we've got one session left, hopefully taking place next Monday. I'm playing a gnome, because I like short guys. Hey, Tarble the Ring Wraith is here! Oh, you got an ad for Fortnite? I'm sorry, bud. I have been... Hey, Dabs, giving old Tarble a subscription. Thank you, my dude. Tarble, enjoy not having ads anymore. As I was about to say, something that Twitch has recommended we do to monetize the channel a little bit better is to run ads now and again for people who aren't subscribed. I do have it set so that subscribers don't have to be bothered by that stuff. They only happen every so often, and again, only for people who aren't subscribed. But Twitch does not pay the bills, and any money that they are willing to give us for free, I mean, basically for free, we'll take it. Oh, roll off! Damn it, Tarvel, and you already got a 20. Fuck you, man. So, this one's no longer on the market. Pays to know people in the industry. I got this, which camera is it? You? Yes, I got this wood D20. Has these, like, green mahogany and makes a few little purple stripes in it. It doesn't roll but shit for me, but let's give it a go. I got a solid pin. Ah, I beat Dancer and Erik, though. Screw you guys. Tarvel, though, with the 20. Well done, you. Excellent job, sir. 16 for Dabs. Still beat me. Can't beat Tarvel. Can't beat the dude. How's it going, buddy? How'd you spend your Memorial Day? Grim Forge says, dwarves will always be my peeps, but I also love loxodons. Complete opposite spectrum. Okay, so... let's talk about how the people making D&D are furries. Because they are. You got devil boys, you got angel boys, you got dragon boys, and then you start. Then you got cat boys, you got frog boys, you got rabbit boys, you got bird boys, you got different kind of bird boys, you got elephant boys. I have no interest from a role-playing perspective of playing a player character for an extended period of time who is of one of these races. Oh, fish boys. You got fish boys too. But of the above, oh, hippopotamus boys, because everyone was banging down the door for that. So much lore and mythology across the world that we could draw from, but no, let's make a hippopotamus boy. You got snake people, you got the Yuan-Ti. I mean, you think about it, man. But, yes. Yes, they absolutely are. But of them, I like the Loxodon. I like the lore that they have given them. I like the look. I like just the feel of a gargantuan elephant person who is really a man of peace or a woman of peace coming in to the party and just mauling everything and apologizing the whole way through. Or whatever, however you want to play the character. Loxodons have a special place in my heart. I love them being in my game world. But I don't want to play them. Personally. It's completely a personal choice. Fun fact, your D20 can only roll 20s. Every number is a 20. Send one my way. I'll take that. Nobody has to know. Don't tell my players. Ooh, boy. Once again, just thank you to everybody for hanging out and just chilling with me on a holiday and talking D&D, having a drink with me together. Thank you to the people who followed and or subscribed or gifted subscriptions during the evening. You guys are really awesome. We're inching closer, by the way. I mean, at this point, this is the last stream for the month. I don't think we're hitting that sub goal for having members of the community play D&D with us. That was the where is it? That was what this was for. Hey, thank you for the cheers, Skipper Bob. While you guys are here in the chat, I think the only reason we didn't hit that goal was because we didn't stream for almost 2 weeks because of MegaCon and all hands being on deck. Do you think this is a good sub goal and that we should keep it and just do it again on a month where we're actually streaming more and more people have the opportunity to interact with it? Or do you think I should come up with something else? And if so, do you have any recommendations for what it should be? I was talking to people in Sophie's Discord who were excited by the opportunity. Hawk says to keep it. I thought it was fun. I mean, because I would genuinely like to play D&D with some of you guys. I don't know how many of you guys want to play with me, or Tyler, or Jane, or Eric, but I think that'd be cool. Y'all seem alright, you know? You sent me the Etsy link. I will take it, dude. You would love to play D&D. Tarvel, you have a pass, man. You're in the Adventurers program. Adventurers have the opportunity to play when they want to play. You can run on the stream, man. You got all these Friday nights where I'm at shows. Step up, run the stream, be the king. Dab says keep it. Hawk says keep it. Tarvel sounds like he says keep it, so I'll keep it. We'll do it another month. We'll reset it before Wednesday's stream. Wednesday will be D&D on the channel again, and we'll go for it again. We'll give it another month, see what happens. Dabs, your question was solely for your education. You would like to create and play. You were asked about what is the easiest races and classes to play at the beginning. I think that was it. Should that be the case? The true answer to that question is what should I play as my first D&D race or character? It's the one that excites you the most. The one that you're gonna have the most fun with is the one that you like the idea of. But if you are worried about being, if you are intimidated by complexity, I mean, you can learn them all. I've learned them all just by reading. But Fighter and Barbarian are definitely easier to understand and play. For if not my little demon spawns getting ready for bed at the time we stream, I'd join a session. I know. I don't personally know the feeling. I have watched the feeling. The reason my brother doesn't tune into a lot of my streams is because he's putting kids to bed, and he has to get assistance from the wife every time he plays with us on stream, and he schedules it out in advance so that she knows she doesn't have help that night putting the kids to bed, because that's what happens at 7 to 9 Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, is his kids sleep. Eric, don't worry about it. Go join Eric's stream. You are overwhelming yourself with stuff. Just go. Have a good night, man. I'm not at all offended. In fact, it's a little... Let's see, I was toying with the idea of a Tiefling fighter or Warlock. Both good. As we mentioned, Warlock is a simpler spellcaster. You don't have as many spells to pick. You don't have as many spells to cast. You get better cantrips than any other class. Cantrips are basically spells that you can cast over and 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 over again, and never have to keep track of how many times you've used them or how much, whether they upgrade or anything. They're consistent. And you get access to the best cantrip in the game, which is Eldritch Blast. And you'll be doing a lot of Eldritch Blast, which does more damage than a sword, by the way, and at a lot greater distance. There's a big flavor niche for a Tiefling Warlock, too. That is its own archetype. Yeah, man. I know you're in our Discord, and I suspect you might even be in the Bardic to Inspiration Discord as well. If anyone is not in the Misty Mountain Gaming Discord, there's a link. In fact, there's 2 links, because Nightbot and Stream Elements still don't get along. But yeah, join the Discord if you're not in there already. But you will find a lot of people willing to help you make that character from a statistic standpoint, and all you have to do is come up with the story. What excites you more? The idea of coming up with the idea of why someone is skilled with every weapon they touch and proficient in all kinds of armor, and how they got to be proficient in so many ways of dealing with death? Or are you excited to play a character who made a bargain with a very powerful entity? I exchange X for Y, and Y is power. Power beyond what anyone else has access to. There's not a wrong answer. But you know, guys, it's coming up on 8:30. We've had about an hour and a half of stream, and I would really love to show our boy Erik some love. If you guys are not already subscribed to his channel, I think I can still do this. Or subscribe. If you're not following his channel, there's a link to his channel. You don't have to follow it. I'm gonna have us raid him in just a moment, because he's an awesome dude, he's playing an awesome game, and he's playing with some awesome people, some of you guys. And I think it would be a great thing if we would go over there and support him and his lovely butt, because there's no shortage of kind people in the world, but there's some real jerkwads out there as well. And Erik is a kind human being who deserves to be celebrated and have a few more people in his stream tonight. What do you say? I enjoy storytelling, so I feel like I do more with the making a deal background. There's a lot you can do with that. If you the crossroads bargain, the I sold my soul so that I could play the guitar better than everybody else. What was the name of that character? Or I sold my soul with power to protect my family. Or I gave 20 years off my life so that I could do X or Y. I offered 10 years of service in exchange for the power that I now wield, and I'm in my last year, and we'll see what happens, and if the bargain is honored or if I'm released from my service. There's a lot of good Warlock hooks. Grim Ford says, good night, fam. Dancer Hawk says, I second the motion. Alright, guys. Well, let me get the raid set up, and we will call this an evening. Thank you guys again. I've said it 4 times, I think, during the stream. It means a lot to me that you guys have showed up to hang out with me, to support this channel, to support this family. And this is a good holiday to spend with your family, and I'm glad I got to spend it with you guys. Alright, I think I've got my finger on the trigger here. So, in case you don't hear it anywhere else this week, and I hope you heard it many times today, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being you, and until next time, farewell, Godspeed, friends and adventurers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.